Namaskar. You are watching MATV and you're watching a special program that we air. It's called Nari Tu Narayani. Nari meaning woman and Narayani meaning an aspect of Lord Vishnu. The strength that Vishnu brings to the universe, the creator. Today we are in a climate where there is a lot of stress, lot of worry. Your businesses are closed down at the moment because of COVID-19, and we have full compassion for that. With us in the studio today, we have two eminent guests. First part of the show will be with Arya Tavre. She's a specialist consultant in the field of business, and she will talk to you about your concerns from small to medium businesses, investment opportunities, and all the ups and downs that are going on in the current climate. Inspiring Indian women have brought Nari Tu Narayani to the world at the moment because women have the power. So to a very powerful woman out there, I'm going to say a warm welcome. Arya, welcome. Arya is joined through Skype. So Arya, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, hello, hi. Thank you for the kind introduction.
So Arya, tell me, people in the studio and people out there listening to us today through Nari Tu Narayani's program on MATV will be wondering, what is the current business climate like and how are people coping in this atmosphere? Please enlighten us. I want to talk about you, but first let us give people some reassurance. So Arya, please.
Yes, so I'm myself founder of a small business called Future Bricks. So of course, in COVID-19 circumstances, it has affected all businesses, small, medium, or large. It's definitely not an easy time for anyone, but luckily the government has come with a lot of measures to help, again, businesses of all sizes. So from, business interruption loans to risky loans, furlough schemes. So there are a lot of grants and loans that has been provided for, the period the lockdown continues. So there is that support, there is that silver lining there. And I think these times are also disruptive in a way that is also forcing us to look at our own businesses in a different way. What can we change? It's kind of also stopping us and enabling us to reflect on how we are going to go forward also in the future. So it's interesting times, difficult but interesting. Also, wherever there's adversity, there's opportunity for some of the businesses out there.
Okay. Arya, you're obviously a young woman and you have a lot of responsibilities. How are you dealing with working from home? Is your business affected dramatically? Are your current projects affected dramatically? And I'm sure ladies and gentlemen that are watching you today will take inspiration from you and how you're dealing with it. What do you think?
Yes, I mean, we are a tech company. So luckily, all my team, we are working from home. We're using online communication tools such as Skype, just like we are doing with this interview. So there's no disruption in a sense that the day-to-day working of the business has been stopped because our business is online. That's as far as I can speak for my business. I obviously there has been delays on certain things. So just to give a little background of what the business does is basically we're an online lending platform and we lend to small and medium-sized house builders in the UK. So we have house builders as a customer on one side, and we have these retail lenders as customer on the other side. So there has been delays in terms of valuation getting done. Valuers are not able to go on the site and value the site and so forth. So there has been general slowdown, but in terms of the day-to-day working of our business, that has not been interrupted. But there has been definitely a slowdown, in the usual pace of the business.
So you mentioned about working with business lenders and you work with property consultants, and these markets at the moment are going through tough times, right? So how is the property market coping in your opinion?
I mean, of course, since prices will affect if they're not already affected. Again, but property is something that's long term. If you're comparing property to, let's say, stocks and shares, and we have seen extreme volatility, price sensitivity, because that's the kind of nature of the investment is. Forex as well, extreme volatile. So compared to those two investments, and also even if you're, money in your savings, the bank of interest has gone to first started 0.75 to 0.25, and almost zero now. So in from that, those three kinds of investment is severely affected. Property is usually longer term investment. It's at least 12 to 24 months investment. So I think the immediate effect on the property, we can only depend on how long the COVID will last. If it lasts for 2 days, you'll see impact accordingly. If it lasts longer than that, if we can't flatten the curve, then of course, then entire economy is in jeopardy. So it really depends on how long this pandemic will last.
Okay, so understanding that the pandemic has affected a lot of properties, a lot of businesses, the interest rate changes, I mean, they are being controlled. Tell me, people, if they want some help, are you still able to help? Can they send in their applications to you if they are in that situation where they still want to continue working and still invest? Are you still out there helping people?
Yes, so like I said, on the borrowing side, we're open, our business is open as usual virtually, and we're still taking loan applications. So in fact, on the borrowing side of the business, we are seeing an influx of loan application that is coming because banks have stopped doing mortgages. A lot of other big lenders have paused lending. So we are getting a lot of inquiries, and we're still able to lend. So that's on the borrowing side. There's a massive opportunity for us as a business. And on the lending side, retail lending side specifically, of course, people want to hold on to the cash. They're not too sure, if they want to invest. There's an uncertainty in the market, even job uncertainty for some people. So, of course, and those concerns are real. And, everyone, depending on their financial runway and, how much of disposable income they really have, and can they touch that, can they not touch that? So it all depends on individual basis on the lending side. So we are completely supportive on both the sides. Borrowers, we have two projects where the construction is still going on because construction is allowed to go on as long as there are less people on the site and they're maintaining 2-meter distance. All other projects on the platform they're already rented. They have not been affected. So our existing projects have not been affected. The exits, there will be some extensions because, like I said, the banks have delayed mortgaging facilities. So there are a bit of delays, but there's no severe impact as such or, as of now. And again, like I said, because property is usually longer term, it's not that price sensitive compared to stock market. And it's also an asset that if you have a holding capacity, you can also eventually recover money. Let's say the effects of COVID becomes more severe or, longer than what we are predicting. So that's one speciality of this asset class is if you have a holding capacity, to let's say 3 years plus at least, then it's something that can be considered. But again, it depends on your financial status and runway and your whole investment portfolio.
Now, Arya, we talked about several different aspects of the property market and in terms of the investment opportunities that are out there. In the current climate, obviously people are worried about property prices and valuations. I have a two-pronged question here. First of all, if one is not really, doing anything dramatically in terms of work because of being at home and you're supposed to stay at home and you must be safe and stay at home, are you suggesting it's a good time to invest now, and are valuations expected to drop?
Is a very interesting concept. Even like now, all the RICS accredited value, when we're getting valuation done, they're not actually going to the site. And obviously now, because of the technology, there are various ways. There are video calls and Google Earth, and obviously all the comparables are already out there on the web. So I think there is of course opportunity because if you have cash, if you have disposable income, this is from the borrowing side. If you're already property developer and you happen to have cash in this extremely unprecedented times, then of course you're in a higher position because prices are falling. So if you have cash and if you're a property developer right now, I think it's the best time because you can possibly negotiate the best property prices and get the best deal in the market. And again, it's a long-term thing. Its main thing to remember is property is longer term, so it doesn't have that volatility. So there's definitely opportunity if you're a property developer and if you have cash on hand because you can buy properties much cheaper than you would have able to, let's say, even five weeks ago. So that's interesting on that side.
Okay, so this is very, very important. I'm going to sort of reach out to people who might have tuned in and explain to them in Hindi. अगर आपने अभी टीवी चालू किया हो तो हमारा प्रोग्राम अभी जो चल रहा है वो नारी तो नारायणी है. हमारे साथ है आर्या तावरे जो एक कंपनी चलाती है जिनका नाम है फ्यूचर ब्रिक्स और आपको वो एडवाइस दे रही है, आपके क्वेश्चंस ले रही है. नंबर इज़ ऑन द स्क्रीन. इफ़ इट इज़ प्लीज़ डू कॉल इन विद योर क्वेश्चंस. इफ़ नॉट डू कॉन्टैक्ट फ्यूचर ब्रिक्स. नाउ व्हाट वी जस्ट डिस्कस, आर्या जी ने कहा कि ये समय आपके लिए प्रॉपर्टी मार्केट में जाने का शायद अच्छा है और अभी प्रॉपर्टी प्राइसेस लो है. अगर आपको स्ट्रेट प्रॉफिट नहीं करना तो लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए ये समय बिल्कुल उचित है. आर्या, looking up on your interesting background, I find that you were sort of one of the coolest people in FinTech UK, and you were also voted as the top 25 under 25. As a woman, and because this program is called Nari Tu Narayani and we talk about Stri Shakti, tell us a little bit about who you are and where you come from.
I started this business around 3.5 years ago. I went to UCL. मैंने अपनी पढ़ाई की उधर 4 साल, and I always मुझे always entrepreneur बनना था. I always wanted to be my own boss. So I started Future Bricks. I saw the gap in the market, and 3.5 years later, we launched the business. We are under the FC umbrella, appointed representative. We build the technology. We fund projects. We have 1.7 million loan book, 1,000 active lender base. So yeah, it's been a very interesting journey as an entrepreneur, and it's like living a dream. So it's quite grateful for this journey, and I actually encourage anyone out there, who always wanted to start their own business. I think we need more entrepreneurs as well as a country, and especially small and medium-sized businesses. So yes, it's been, like I said, very interesting entrepreneurial journey with full ups and downs and challenges, and it's very rewarding when you overcome the challenges. And obviously right now we're in the midst of COVID-19. No one knows what is going to happen, how it's going to turn out, both in terms of, lives that are at stake, our frontline workers, small businesses, as a government. So it's extremely interesting time. No one has ever seen something like that. So I think it's learning for all of us from all aspects, especially as an entrepreneur.
Now, as an entrepreneur, your journey has been quite exciting. You've sort of been appreciated by the media. You've been appreciated by people in the industry that you work in. Future Bricks is an inspirational project, obviously in terms of the business and also what it provides to the public. अगर हमारी women जो आपका प्रोग्राम देख रही है, we have a massive age group from, say 35 to 75. आर्या जी, आपकी क्या advice होगी if ladies want to get into this field and if they want to look up Future Bricks and be inspired by what you do? How do you inspire Indian women?
I think like my inspiration are always बचपन से मैं बहुत books पढ़ती थी, entrepreneurs के, किरण मुजुमदार, Bicon की founder to Richard Branson. So I used to get मेरे बहुत सारे inspiration from these biographies and autobiographies of entrepreneurs. I think if you find a gap in the market and you think you can do better and solve it, and there's business proposition, go for it. It doesn't matter, what ethnicity, age you are or your background. I think once you make a commitment of doing something, then, then obviously you'll solve the challenges one by one. A lot of people think, "Ki, Arey, I don't have money to set this up. I might not have the background. I don't have expert on the team." But I think that all comes later. First, you've got to make commitment to yourself and go for it. So I think that's my sort of advice, if I can say that. Make a commitment. Once you've made commitment, determination is important. There will be challenges, there will be uncertainties, there will always be external factors such as COVID, which we cannot control, but it's all part of the journey, and it's huge learning for anyone, and no matter what size of business you have.
Okay, so here is another very relevant question. When I'm listening to you, when I'm watching you, and I'm sure जो लोग आपको देख रहे हैं आर्या जी, you seem a very positive person. You have a lot of positive energy that is emanating from your persona. And this kind of personality in the current climate is very, very sort of, I would say inspirational, but also very good to have. How do you keep yourself mentally so positive? The reason I'm asking you this question is because a part of the show was about small businesses and how they are coping in the current climate. And the second part of the show is about mental health and how ladies and gentlemen are coping, being sort of restricted to movement and work, and with children, Easter holidays have started. So tell me, what is your key mantra for your positivity? Also, I have another question for you regarding your ongoing projects. So if people want to get involved, what are your current projects? So 2 questions out there for you.
So in terms of, I think, positive, I think first of all, we have to accept the reality that this is happening. This is something none of us have seen, and it makes you realize a lot of things, like a small protein, which is literally endangering human lives, and, this lockdown and this small virus, like how insignificant we are as human beings. Like, it puts everything in perspective. So I think, as from a business owner point of view, main thing is to check what's out there. Make a plan. If you have any unnecessary cost, try and reduce that, or try and make it zero, and make sure that you have much longer runway, because again, we don't know if this will last for 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months. So I think uncertainty, try and mitigate as much uncertainty as possible from your business. Look at all the government schemes and grants that's out there. Call the bank, talk to them. If it's the funds that you require, talk to your customers. Keep in constant communication with them. So as long as if you know that you're doing your best, and you're on top of this, then I think it's easy to maintain the positivity instead of, being very afraid about things. Of course, it's like I said, like a lot of business owners in a very difficult spot. So I think main thing is make sure you're cutting down your costs, check what government scheme are there, keep talking to your customers. I think so keep doing the best that you can for your business. And I think that's what gives me personally a positivity and keeps the positive attitude. Also, if you can exercise at home and, talk to your friends and families, use your video calls. So try to maintain life as normal as possible. And we know that this shall pass. This is not something that's going to go on forever. So that's also another thing to remember, that nothing is permanent, only change is permanent.
That's really good advice. Arya Tavre from Future Bricks has been advising us on the nitty-gritty of investing in the property market at the moment. They provide the service to actually invest. Arya, whilst you're on the phone, just before we go for a break, I have one quick question for you. At the moment, you said that Future Bricks is an innovative platform that enables you to invest anything from 500 to up to the sky's the limit. Can you actually talk to us about borrowings? Are there any borrowings available at the market, or can you freeze your loan at the moment? What scenario is going on at the moment? Sort of round up on the market in terms of where we are.
We have total 1.7 million loan book across 11 projects. Most of them are bridge loans, so they have fixed monthly interest, which is already price has already been set. So those are not affected. The two projects where we actually have construction going on, those sites are quite small. So only one or two workers are working on the site, maintaining the 2 meter distance. So there's like I said, like the main thing is delays, but very much there's a huge opportunity in the market because a lot of borrowers are coming to us with a loan inquiry to buy a site because the prices have fallen. So that from that side, we are open for business. We are getting a lot of loan application, and we encourage, especially since the banks have shut their door for mortgages and any sort of a property lending as such. So we are very happy to help borrowers in such situations and able to give them funding, whereas our competitors have shut their shop, but we are there to support and help. And I think I'm very proud and honored to say that we are in that position to do that and help borrowers in this situation and credit crunch and able to provide them with funds.
I mean, in terms of your advice today to all the viewers, it's been absolutely sterling. In terms of interest rates, what is the current scenario? Have they changed? What are your arrangements for your customers? And if people are watching you and if they are in a point where they feel, I don't want to invest anywhere else, is yours safe or is there a risk involved? That's my last question in terms of today.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, property is longer term. And if you do have a disposable income that, was been kept aside and nothing else has changed in your life, then of course it's an option to consider. Like I said, our interest rates are fixed and they are not in accordance with the Bank of England because we have priced our risk as per the project. We are, of course, keeping a very thorough eye on the prices that have been changing. We have changed our underwriting criteria. So we are lending smaller amounts, lower loan to value. So making sure that, our underwriting as tight as possible. And we're reviewing that almost on a weekly basis. So we are making sure that everything in our power, both the capital is been thought of and protected to some extent. And main thing is, again, the lending criteria. We're lending much smaller loan to value, so keeping much more margin in the project than we would usually in a normal market condition. So we as a lending platform are also taking those extra precautions. And again, most thing important to remember is that it's property's longer term investment and Corona will end.
That from your ears to God's ears, I think Corona will end, and I hope people watching this program have taken so much of your positivity on board. We're going to go for a short break, and after the break, we are going to talk to an expert about the mental health issues that people are suffering in this difficult time of COVID-19. We will be right back.
Jack needs construction finance for a housing project. Jill needs an investment vehicle for her savings. And we are Future Bricks, a peer-to-peer lending platform for Britain's small and medium house builders who have limited access to mainstream finance. At the same time, we're making the exclusive industry of property investments accessible to all. You can start investing from as little as £500 and earn from 8 to 10% gross interest per annum. So how does it work? All these housing projects satisfy our stringent lending criteria and undergo comprehensive due diligence. All loans are secured against the properties, making the investments asset-backed. You can view all details of the projects, like investment summary, financial breakdown, along with the valuation report and the borrower's track record. You can even book a site visit to make up your mind. Join now, decide later. You can register by following a simple 3-step process and start building your portfolio brick by brick. Let's break the brick ceiling. www.futurebricks.com. Your capital is at risk and peer-to-peer lending is not covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. The Brickwork Group Limited, trading as Future Bricks, is an appointed representative of Resolution Compliance Limited, which is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, FRN 574048.
The hottest Black Friday offer is with Leica Mobile. You get a whopping 50% off when you buy UK Plan Mega this weekend. 40 gigabytes of data, unlimited UK minutes and texts, and 100 international minutes for just £10 this weekend. It's Black Friday madness from Leica Mobile. 50% off should not be missed. Visit leicamobile.co.uk for details. Offer is valid to new customers who shop online between 28th of November and 2nd of December 2019. Leica Mobile.
वेस्ट लंदन के सबसे शानदार होटल्स में से एक with 303 air conditioned rooms and suites, one of the largest banquet spaces in London, meeting room for up to 1200 people, conferences, musical function, weddings या कोई भी गैदरिंग, मनपसंद भोजन, शानदार आयोजन और बेहतरीन वेन्यू, 400 गाड़ियों की पार्किंग के साथ Heston Hyde. For bookings, call 0208 572 1818.
चलो घर बनाते हैं और आपको मिलवाते हैं आपके अपने बिल्डर से। सिंह ब्रदर बिल्डर्स, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जसवंत सिंह ठेकेदार। हर तरह का बिल्डिंग वर्क, न्यू बिल्डिंग, एक्सटेंशन, रेनोवेशन, पैटियो, गार्डन, गैरेज या शेड, हर तरह का काम अनुभवी कारीगरों द्वारा, सेटिस्फेक्शन गारंटीड। 50 साल के अनुभव के साथ सिंह ब्रदर बिल्डर्स। फॉर फ्री एस्टिमेट कॉल 07930 508888। दैट इज 07930 508888।
Jack needs construction finance for a housing project. Jill needs an investment vehicle for her savings. And we are Future Bricks, a peer-to-peer lending platform for Britain's small and medium house builders who have limited access to mainstream finance. At the same time, we're making the exclusive industry of property investments accessible to all. You can start investing from as little as £500 and earn from 8 to 10% gross interest per annum. So how does it work? All these housing projects satisfy our stringent lending criteria and undergo comprehensive due diligence. All loans are secured against the properties, making the investments asset-backed. You can view all details of the projects, like investment summary, financial breakdown, along with the valuation report and the borrower's track record. You can even book a site visit to make up your mind. Join now, decide later. You can register by following a simple 3-step process and start building your portfolio brick by brick. Let's break the brick ceiling. www.futurebricks.com. Your capital is at risk and peer-to-peer lending is not covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. The Brickwork Group Limited, trading as Future Bricks, is an appointed representative of Resolution Compliance Limited, which is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, FRN 574048.
Namaskar and welcome back after the break. We at the moment are watching the COVID-19 crisis unfold in front of us. Our lives have changed, things have become really difficult. In the studio with me on the phone is Kirti Soni. Kirti ji is a psychotherapist. She's helping a lot of ladies and gentlemen who've been struggling through this difficult time emotionally. Not being able to work, we, through this program, Nari Tu Narayani, are dealing with calls and queries from a lot of people. There is a group called COVID-19 Mental Health. Kirti ji is going to talk to us about that. Welcome to our studio through the phone. Please do talk to us a little bit about the mental health scenario in this really difficult time, and please advise listeners.
Thank you, Darshini, and thank you, MATV, for hosting this very important episode of the show. At the moment, we are fielding calls and queries 24/7 through our Facebook group, which is called COVID-19 Mental Health Support. Started off as a very simple group, which was a follow-on from our work at Grenfell, where in the immediate trauma we set up immediate mental health support before because the NHS were very occupied with the physical health support. So we set up mental health support at Grenfell. We followed the same format and did it for COVID-19, but within a week it has gone global as opposed to Grenfell, which was very localized. This has obviously gone global because the pandemic is global. So there are people on there from India, from Africa, from America, and the group moderators are on there 24/7. There are psychoanalysts, psychiatrists, psychotherapists, all manner of people on there 24/7 as well. So if you are struggling, if you need advice, if you need anything, just go on to the Facebook page and ask away. You will for sure find some support.
So we will have a caller online at the moment. I am going to repeat their question to you. Kirti ji, tell me, just bear with me for a minute while I speak to the caller. Hello?
Okay.
Hello, caller?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Tell me.
Yeah, this is Pooja here. Just wanted to ask, I know this is on the current topics what we are discussing today. Just wanted to ask a quick tip. How do we try to balance this stress from the outer world sitting inside? What are the quick tips you give us?
Okay, I'm going to repeat your question for Kirti ji. Kirti ji, we have Pooja on the line, and Pooja is worried about the stress that is that she's feeling from the external circumstances. Sitting in the house, how do you cope with the stress, especially ladies?
All right. Okay. I don't know if I'll be able to back and forth with Pooja, but a few things that would be helpful is to know whether Pooja is living alone or whether she's living with other people, and also the age bracket that Pooja is in, so that we can be a bit more directive about the advice and the support that we give. So, do you want me to wait until you ask her those things, or do you want me to just say some general?
No. Kirti ji, Pooja's question is generally, how do you keep control of the situation?
All right. Okay. So, generally speaking, without any reference to whether you have children to support or whether you have elders to support, but just to generally keep yourself going through this crisis as much as possible, is every day you should listen to the news at least once a day, because if you don't, you won't know what is present government advice. Listen to it once a day. Try not to focus on the numbers, the figures going upwards. They usually have, every day, they have three types of numbers. They have how much it has increased, how many people have now caught coronavirus, and they have how many people have passed away from coronavirus. But what you should concentrate on is how many people have actually recovered from coronavirus. So concentrate on that third figure, because that is the figure that will sustain you through this, not the other two figures. Secondly, in the news again, keep an eye on what is the latest government advice, because if you've seen, we've been involved in coronavirus matters since January. So at that time, it wasn't global. But over the past month, obviously, it's become global, and the government advice in every government has been changing daily. So depending on where, because the Conscious MATV has an international viewership. So no matter which country you're in and where you are watching your one episode of the news.
Yeah, I think the 10 o'clock news is a good one that BBC does. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends on your personal thing, because some people are morning people and they wake up with the news. I watch it with the breakfast every morning, so it depends on what is your personal preference. But just watch it once a day. Keep an eye on the numbers of people who have recovered from COVID-19. Then look at what is your government's advice on what you should be doing. And, some are advising, like today, some governments are advising wear a mask. Some governments today are advising don't wear a mask. Follow your government's advice, but take into account advice advice from known authorities like World Health Organization, because they've got a broader perspective and a broader handle on what's going on globally. So that, and then on top of that, for yourself, make sure you are well nourished. Make sure you've got good food. And that doesn't mean depriving yourself of junk food. If you feel like having a chocolate digestive and a packet of crisps, have it. But also make sure you're getting the good nutrition. Have good balanced meals. Make sure you do your half hour or 1 hour of external exercise. Do it in your garden. Do it on your balcony. Do it wherever, so that you get some fresh air and some sunshine. And of course, balance your daily routine. Do a little bit of work, do a little bit of rest, do a little bit of play, do a little bit of music, dancing, watch a good movie, but balance out your day, and that's how we will survive and get through this.
Thank you, Kirti ji. I hope the caller has sort of got some sort of positive information from this. Thank you very much for calling in. It was Pooja, right?
Yes.
Pooja, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja. So, in terms of the summary of what Kirti ji has said, आपको न्यूज़ देखना है, सुनना है, लेकिन दिन में सिर्फ एक बार, और न्यूज़ की अच्छी बातें को लेकर उस पे आप थोड़ा अमल कीजिए. और सेकंड, अगर आप अपने दिन की चर्या को अच्छी तरह से ब्रेकअप करेंगे तो आपका दिन खुश और शांत रहेगा, वरना आप अपने आप को ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस देंगे. कीर्ति, नाउ इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर discussion about people that are suffering, you talked about this COVID-19 mental health on Facebook. Am I correct? Is there a telephone number, अगर जो हमारे listeners हैं और viewers हैं आज का program देख रहे हैं और वो अपने आप को depressed feel करते हैं या बहुत sad है, तो क्या Facebook के अलावा is there a telephone number to ring or a website?
What I'll do is, we are in the midst of preparing a website. So we haven't got a dedicated number, but what I will do is I will put on the Facebook page my own number, and also I'll ask other psychiatrists, psychoanalysts, all the other mental health support staff, whoever is willing to put their number up, I'll ask them if they can put it up. But certainly after this program, I'll put up my number. And also, if you mentioned that I can speak fluent Gujarati, so I've had lots of calls just from people who have referred people who are Gujarati speaking, and they've said, please can you speak to my aunt? She's not listening. She keeps going to the fruit and vegetable market.
Oh.
Please can you speak to my mother? She's not listening. She keeps saying there's nothing wrong in going to VP and Sons. But just, I speak to them in Gujarati to re-emphasize that, okay, you go to VB, but social distance, do this, do that. But I say it all in Gujarati. So I'll put my number up there for anybody who needs it, and so that I can speak to maybe their mother or their father or their elder or whoever in Gujarati. And English, of course.
Okay, so just to sort of reiterate what's going on today is that आप देख रहे हैं Nari Tu Narayani, inspiring Indian women, started by Rashmi Mishra, started this Facebook group, and आज thousands of लोग ये Facebook group के द्वारा एक दूसरे के साथ connect करते हैं. पहले हमने देखा था कि आर्य तावरे जी ने अपने बिजनेस का मॉडल और उनकी पॉजिटिविटी का राज दिया, और अभी हमारे साथ है कीर्ति सोनी जी जो एक साइकोथेरेपिस्ट है. और ये कोविड-19 में अगर आप डिप्रेस्ड हो, इफ़ यू आर फीलिंग सैड, इफ़ यू आर फीलिंग लो, तो कुछ उनकी टिप्स है जो आपको इस डिफ़िकल्ट क्लाइमेट के साथ कोप करने की सॉर्ट ऑफ सलाह दे रहे हैं. नाउ टेल मी, यू नो, mental health is a big problem. I believe there's, 1 in 10 people are clinically depressed in this country. So in a progressed nation like this, with these restrictions that we have, that we are housebound, other than general, say if you're targeting an age group of, say, 45 to 55, what would be your advice? Because then it's relevant to someone like me.
All right. Okay. So depending on whether they were before COVID-19, depending on whether they were professionals and going out to work, and whether their company has made arrangements for them to be working from home, if your work is a type that you are not able to continue doing it from home, other ways that you can survive through this pandemic is maybe you can use the time to upgrade your own skills, do that course that you've been meaning to do but you couldn't do because you were always catching the train or stuck in traffic, going to work, coming back, cooking, everything. You're not able to do your job, your actual day job from home, then you could use this time to upskill. Another thing you can do is use the time to engage in the activities that you would have liked to enjoy before, but you couldn't because you didn't have the time. I know for me, certainly, I really love Bollywood films, but I struggle to find that long time span to watch a Bollywood film. So if you like that kind of stuff, you have time. I mean, even now, often I get outvoted because my children want to watch Hollywood films, and I get outvoted. So even with this COVID going on, and I should be able to now find a 3-hour slot somewhere, but I get outvoted, and of course I go with the family consensus. But yeah, do the leisure activities that you wanted to do but you couldn't do because you were always on that commute, dropping the kids, picking up the kids, taking them swimming here, there, everywhere, and you didn't have that time.
So it's me time. I certainly can speak from my experience. I spend a lot of time with music and I like to dance, so I do that. One of the questions that have just come in says over here, the biggest challenge is social isolation and working from home with children inside the house. Cooking all the time. How do we deal with this emotionally? You know, you want to say I can't do this anymore, and you have a breakout moment. How do you deal with that situation when it comes? How do you stop it?
It's very difficult to stop. So I know that sounds like really heavy, but it's better that we work with reality. We work with practicality. So you know that you are locked in the house with your full family, and there's no escaping it. They all need to be fed and they all need to be looked after. And not just Eastern households, but even in Western households, with women I've spoken to, the greater burden, the greatest onus is actually always on the woman of the house. No matter what careers both of them have, but the responsibility for keeping the family fed and watered falls on the woman's head. So once we accept that, then you can direct it. So, for example, I'll share something personal. I went through this myself last week because morning, afternoon, and night, people would be loitering near my desk saying, what are we going to have for lunch? What are we going to have for this? What are we going to have for that? So I went through that myself, and then I thought, okay, so this is the reality. What can I do about it?
Right.
And what I started doing was, because I have got a son who's just come back from university, I was like, well, how did you survive at uni without me saying, what are you going to have? Or me deciding, what are you going to have? So he's got on with it. He prepares a breakfast or a lunch or something, and then he will invite me to it too. So see what you can do. See how you can say to somebody else, like you could maybe ask your husband that, well, you've never cooked for the last 20 years. Would you like to try one of my recipe books?
Okay, I have. I'm going to. I'm going to pass a caller's question to you. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello, Ji.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Yeah, I am talking about my wife who is isolated since 3.5 years.
Ji.
In the care home.
Ji.
From the first day up to now, she is trying to escape. Her name is Geeta. She tried to escape from the care home.
Right.
But she is not able because of the law of the government.
So
can someone phone her to give her confidence?
Okay.
She speaks Gujarati as well as English.
So
better Gujarati, our language.
Okay. Sorry, your name was again?
Her name is Geeta Patel.
And your name?
Oh, my name is Suryakant Patel.
Suryakant bhai, you're saying that your wife has been in isolation for how long?
2nd of November 2016. She was taken from here. So she was taken without her that thing and without mine.
Okay. Due to her, so Kirti ji, we have Suryakant Bhai on the phone. His wife Geeta Patel. Geeta Patel has been suffering from isolation for a very long time. તમે ગુજરાતી બોલો છો તો the request
ગુજરાતી તો આપણી લેંગ્વેજ છે આપણે ગુજરાતી બોલીએ છીએ
તો કીર્તિજી can you in a few words tell the caller what can you do to help someone?
Yeah.
What can you do? Sorry?
So
you can call the call center.
So he's going to provide you with a call center number.
There's no call center number, yeah.
And Suryakant Bhaji, just hold on, okay? I'm going to get Kirti Ben to talk.
You can call the, that center where my wife is there.
Okay, we will do that.
Care center.
Okay, thank you so much for your call, Suryakant Bhai. Thank you. Kirti, so we had a caller on the phone who was worried about his wife who's been in isolation because of health problems for a long time.
Okay.
Are you and your team able to call people who speak Gujarati or Hindi and are alone and are struggling emotionally?
I'll certainly give him a call. If he's given you his number, I'll give him a call.
We'll have the number and we will get him to definitely call you and we will deal with this problem. Do you get a lot of these kind of calls where people are isolated and they feel depressed?
Yes. Unfortunately, and it's a sad part of this particular pandemic, because with other pandemics, there wasn't a thing where the whole world was shut down. But with this particular disease, it is the nature of the disease that everybody is locked down in their homes. So from whether it's a physical illness or whether it's physical health or mental health, or everybody's having to rely on calling or going on the internet, connecting online, finding some other way to get the help that they need.
So if I were to summarize some of the points that we've discussed, I know I saw something on Facebook this afternoon where a famous actress called Vidya Balan was saying that washing up and doing extra housework is just not a woman's job alone. When everybody's stuck at home, the entire family has to group together. And you mentioned a very important point that your son, who's just back from uni, is cooking. I'm really glad that as a family we are getting this time. Kirti, very briefly, because we have a caller, but I'm going to ask you, does your son give you, for example, a hard time? Or sorry, we'll take the caller first and then I'll come back to my question. Hello, caller? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Right. Hello? Okay, so we had a caller, but I'm sorry we can't hear the caller's voice. But yeah, so Kirti, do you find children sort of struggle with responding to you?
They're not a struggle only because I think they understand the nature of it. And I've spoken to people who have much younger children, although they don't understand what exactly is going on, but they do understand. And these are children, people that we know with children who are like 5 or 8 or 10, 12, 14, 16. A lot of my client group is age 13 to 25 because I deal with the youth community. So although even the 13-year-olds, they realize the impact if they don't go along, and they realize that this is a very big, serious thing. Even the 5-year-olds, they realize that this is some really weird, serious thing that is going on with the world, and we need to just cooperate with mommy and daddy for now. And I don't know how, but even at age 5, they have got this concept of something very bad is going on, and to stay safe, we need to just cooperate with mommy and daddy. So it's been testing time for the parents, but I think even the very young kids are getting it. I think the difficulty is really maybe with the under 5s. With the under 5s because they don't quite...
Sorry, Kirti ji, I've got a caller waiting. Sorry to interrupt. I'm just going to take the quick call. Hello, caller. Please tell me what is your question.
Hi, my question is, what can you suggest for our elders who are in care homes in relation to their mental well-being.
Ji, what is your name?
Harsha Trivedi.
Harsha ji, thank you so much for your call. We are going to finish the program in 3 minutes, but I am going to get Kirti ji to give a quick 1-minute summary. Harsha Trivedi is on the line, and her question is, what do we do for our elderly parents who are in a care home? What do we do for their mental health?
All right, okay. With the elderly, especially the ones who are in the care home, or even if they're living in their own home, see if you can get, in a care home certainly, the staff will set up a video link for you, whether it's a WhatsApp call, whether it's a Skype, whether it's whatever gadget and whatever application, whatever app they use. But the care home staff will certainly set up some way that you can keep communicating with your elderlies. If your parents are living in their own property away from you guys, then at least just do one trip and do it exercising all the social distancing. Keep, 6 feet away from them.
So you just show them yourself visually, yeah. So they can see you, but you don't go close. Yeah.
But just set up something that they can then operate. The quickest would probably be WhatsApp video calls. But set up something so they can call you and see you and any grandchildren and keep in touch with you every day.
Okay, so Harsha ji, Kirti ji's advice, I'm sure you've heard, but I will reiterate for everybody who's also listening, other than this wonderful call, is that you must call your grandparents, your parents, keep in touch with the elderly who are completely isolated. Inspiring Indian Women and Nari Tu Narayani's this program was about mental health and the business challenges that we are struggling with. Kirti, thank you very much for being our advisor for this program. Harsha ji, thank you for your call. And for everyone who've been watching us, this is Darshini Joshi saying thank you. Stay safe, be careful, look after each other, love each other, and music is one key element that will get you through these difficult times. So keep smiling and be positive.
And dancing.
And dancing. I absolutely agree. Thank you on behalf of MATV and the staff that have been working very hard for this through this difficult time. Keep safe.